Hello and welcome back. In this video, I will be sharing a portion of the coaching session I had with Chilli last week. But I have a little bit of, well, I have good news and I have bad news. Well, the good news is that I have some coaching material to show. The bad news is that from the last session I had with Chilli, I actually forgot to push the record button, so I didn't record the entire session. Which was really unfortunate because we actually ended up playing out an endgame with some nice imbalances where I had I lost the piece, but I had some pawns for it in return. So it was like I had three connected pairs pawns, but he had the extra piece, and well, we tried out to play out that endgame. Now, obviously, I lost because well, Chile is of course a strong player. But nonetheless, it was very interesting, and I didn't record it. So unfortunate. So I will double check the recording next time to make sure I'm absolutely recording it. So, yeah, for this video, I selected a portion where we were reviewing the Capablanca games, which is very interesting. So this is just a different game from the Capablanca session. The endgame specialist, very interesting, and I hope you will enjoy it. If so, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment. That would be really awesome. And enjoy the video.
Next one. D4, D5. We get the same similar type of position here. This is the starting position here, this key move here, knight E4. And this is achievable from the Catalan in the Reti that you play. Have you seen this configuration at all?
Yeah, but never with my bishop over there, I think.
Oh, this is very interesting. Let me show you this then, because this is very useful for the Reti. Just create a chapter here. Reti, the white pieces. So let's say we start off like this. They play this. We'd play our normal here. And let's say this, then possibly a bad move. Let's say knight c6, because you were asking about this the c5 move being limited. We can play like this. d4, of course,
Yeah.
and then bishop g4. If they get this configuration, it's immediately bad for them.
Yeah, I always hop in then if they do that.
But why is that?
Well, I'm threatening to take the bishop.
Yeah.
So they don't want to allow that. What I see most is that they take here, I can take back, and then that knight is a little bit awkward.
Perfect, and that's the idea.
I'm winning the pawn here, so that's nice.
Yep.
So
if you go here,
but
take, and then the knight has to move. The best square is probably to go here, and we can just take this pawn.
Yeah.
We can also play stuff like here, and then we can take the pawn, kind of like a starter step. But I like just queen takes here. This is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And we're winning a pawn. If they take back, then take, and this is an endgame, which is very favorable for us. So this would be very nice. And yeah, they can't do this. Basically, they have to move this bishop again, which is awkward because you have to immediately define where this bishop will go. If it's going to go to h5 or jump back somewhere, which is just as awkward. Here, there might be some tactics with like c4, knight c3, and then takes in the future. So take, and then a future queen check with e4 would be nice. So, or maybe e4 immediately, since the bishop is seeing this. So yeah, many tactics could arise. So this is a very nice idea, and it's applied in this very strange position, which I've never seen being played, which is yeah, it's knight e5 here. which is strange because you can take here as black. Sorry, you can take the bishop on e7 as white. And this is what happens. So what's all this about? Because if you can trade off, it shouldn't be that bad for white, right? But actually after takes, there's this move here, which is a very nice resource for white. And the idea is if you take here, then this will happen, and then this is severely misplaced, this knight, and you can't jump into here because the queen is seeing the square. This would not be nice. This would also not be nice. We can probably even play takes or f5 here in this position, I'm assuming. Or maybe e6 is a possibility.
Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, that's annoying.
So there are some ideas here to play for, many ideas, and if anyone's game is definitely black because the initiative is fully blacks now. So he plays knight e5 here, trying to hit knight so that you can actually take this. And let's return to that theme that we looked at initially of creating a weakness which is long lasting and will permanently affect the game. So what's some candidate moves here?
Well, taking the knight is an option. They have to take with the pawn. Let me see. What else do we have? I don't think I can allow them taking my knight because I'm losing a pawn then, right? So
Yep.
I have to deal with that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm leaning towards this one, but I can't really tell you why exactly. Mostly because I don't want to lose a pawn, and well, that saves me. Takes, and how do I continue then? Well, I can take here, force them to take with this pawn.
Nice.
Well, then they
Very
have double
nice.
pawns and an isolated pawn. And here.
Very nice.
So that's
a very nice
an
idea.
option.
So that looks nice, but are there any other candidate moves to consider?
Well,
because one of your ideas was to play takes and then play takes, right? Can we also play takes immediately? So play knight takes e5 first.
Yeah, it's an option. And then takes probably. But isn't that just the same? But in a different move order?
Not really.
Not really. No.
No.
I think I'm not really seeing it.
So let's go through these lines then. First of all, knight takes c3, takes, and then your line was takes, and there is this weakness here which you've created. And from here, let's say castles, but white will not want to accept this and just go gently into the knight, as that phrase from Interstellar would say. So they may want to break free of this and play something like e4, because now we can't really push forwards. It's that idea of that c6 pawn kind of being a blockader in a way. If we push, it will trade off, and we get this position where they win a pawn. So this pawn is kind of paralyzed here and can't push forwards. If we take this, we at least undouble their pawn and unleash their bishop. So this would be an idea. We can play like this. This is perfectly fine. We'd hit the queen, and this is a possible line. So it's really a matter of who can actually exploit this position here. Is white going to preserve this pawn and hold on to it quite nicely? Or are we going to be able to capture it first? Intuitively, I'd say white actually does get to hold on to this pawn, just because if we bring another defender, they can bring another defender. We can't add any more attackers. If we don't have, let's say, a knight or a bishop to target this pawn, we're
No.
basically working with rook and queen here, so it's not really that weak, this pawn. Maybe this pawn gets a bit weak. Our bishop's always seeing this, so this is nice. However, we could possibly extract more from the position. So let's go back to the position with knight e5 and look at now knight takes e5 immediately. So if this happens, takes, we can choose to take on d4 or we can take on e4. This is a bit better because we're forcing bishop takes, and now c takes, queen takes, and knight c6 retreating. Again, if they play takes, we're happy to have the bishop pair. We've seen that this pawn isn't that weak, and it actually gives us some interesting dynamics, like rook b8, and we attack this pawn with huge pressure. And also, they've traded off their fianchetto bishop, so that gives us many possibilities like bishop h3. So you can't really take this knight, the queen has to move, and we don't really create a weakness per se, because there's nothing weak about white's position here, but this would be a very solid and good continuation. There's nothing wrong with this for sure. Actually, we're up a piece, so ignore that, we've just won a piece here. So this would...
Oh, wow, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, me
No,
neither, actually.
I didn't even notice that.
It's very bad.
I'm just, it's very bad. What's wrong with me today? I'm really not sharp, man. I'm not seeing it.
I missed it today, so yeah, and I'm giving the lesson, so don't worry.
No,
Knight
but
f6 is also a possibility,
I'm really
and
trying to focus here. But how can I miss that?
yeah,
Where did we want a piece then? I'm getting crazy.
because we took this knight, and then they took a piece, and we took a second piece.
But why didn't they take back the piece with the pawn?
They can do this, and this pawn is weak, but we could also play like bishop f5 and attack this pawn.
Yeah,
Yeah, this would be better. I'm not sure why this isn't highlighted, so we'll promote this actually. This is the better move. And then bishop here. Rook here is an option. And it's that case where we do create this strong defended pawn. We can play takes and castles and reinforce with rook e8 in the future. But there is another option which did go unnoticed, but it is extremely hard to find. This is extremely counterintuitive, and this is why Capablanca was such a good calculative player, because he would mix these elements of positional understanding and how that affects the endgames with just brute force calculation. And look at this move. Knight takes d4. Allowing them to take here. And the point is, after takes, you can't really take with the bishop here. You see? Because if you take with the bishop, what happens is this.
Ah, the knight is hanging.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both pieces are hit. If you bring the bishop back, we can take, take, and then take. And this would be just clearly winning a piece.
Yeah. And now I see that you are winning a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
So you can't do that, actually. You can hit this knight, however. This is kind of weakening on these light squares, which is why, again, just super nice calculation. Look at this creativity that he's playing with now. Knight f3. Allowing the knight to take, and then after queen takes, we simply castle. So, what's all this about? Because we're not winning anything, it looks like.
No.
We haven't won a pawn.
You have a nice
We've actually...
pawn majority on the other side. That's nice.
Perfect, yes.
Yeah.
Now our game plan is the pawn majority.
Yeah.
And notice that this pawn's already been pushed forwards. He played rook fc1 here in this position as white. Sorry, Frank James played rook fc1. If you're wondering about queen takes, this isn't good, because what happens is black gets a passed pawn after queen takes rook a b8.
Yeah.
Here, and then takes.
Oh, that's very
and then
nice.
there's a passed pawn.
Yeah.
with a lot of pressure, so this would not be possible. Again, everything is thought about how it would affect the endgame, because this would be an endgame that we'd enter. However, it's very good for black, so this is not a move that can be played. So Rook FC1. And this is how you should be thinking in your games. So now it is a threat to actually take on b7, because in the end of the line, white takes here, so Rook a b8, stopping that idea. Queen e4, Queen c7, unpinning the bishop. Rook c3, b5, really aggressively pushing forwards, really trying to push our majority forwards.
Yeah.
And a3, which is similar to the idea that I showed you in my game, where I told you this
Yeah.
weakens the b3 square now. And look at how Capablanca does this now. c4. And it's directly resembling the position I had in my game, where I had a6, this, and this terrible structure here for white now. Bishop f3, and it's just the exploiting of this now. We shuffle around a bit. White forces a queen trade, so we kind of have to accept this now. But the endgame is not bad. By any means is this a bad endgame. And we can see that black immediately infiltrates here with rook d1 and a5. The idea is that the bishop is always protecting the c-pawn, so we can push b4 immediately. And just to avoid being hit by tempo, white plays rook c2. But b4 regardless, and we're pushing forwards. Take, bishop f3. How do you go about this now? Because we can't really push forwards and create a pass pawn. So there has to be a game plan here.
Well, my rook is hit, so I probably want to deal with that.
Yeah.
And well, why not go here? That looks pretty nice. I wanted to wrap my bishop around, maybe something like this, just to get the rook moving. Oh, sorry, not that. I don't know, this also feels a little bit sketchy maybe.
Also,
but where to go elsewhere? You can also go here and here. It's also an idea.
so it seems the idea is hit the b pawn, to move the rook and add pressure to the b pawn. Now we just need to calculate which move is better in terms of hitting the b pawn. So let's start with rook b1.
Here, yeah, they can push, but that would be nice for me. So they, I don't think they are going to do that.
We could even rook takes, I think.
My pawns are too strong.
Yeah.
So it's a problem for him. So here, but what can you do?
Huge problem.
What can you do then?
Well, the thing is, he doesn't have to do anything. That's the problem. He doesn't have to do anything if we just leave the position like this, because this rook will always defend this pawn. So we need to play this move with a follow-up in mind, which would be, how would we remove this rook so that we can actually capture this pawn? So what would our follow-up be?
Well, I really like this idea. Oh, I can't do that. Then the pawn is falling. Wait.
Yeah.
Here, yeah, I can't move the bishop so easily.
However, if you technically you can, because this pawn is hanging, but this pawn would also hang. So let's say rook here, and then bishop here, take, and then we've made a pass pawn. However, this would not be that good because there would be this defensive resource, which is bishop to e4, and it's a defensive resource because pawn would promote on a light square. So maybe even sacrificing if need be would be a resource that white would have. So we don't want to give them the luxury of this. But rook b1 is played, and I'll show you again how sometimes you just need to be very brute with the calculations. Bishop b3, hitting the pawn a second time, so this was a very nice move by white. But look at this now, b3. And it's so counterintuitive to play this because we are now fixing this pawn as a backward pawn, and this pawn can't really push forwards unless we actually take the pawn on b2. So rook d2 is the only logical move here. Now look at this, rook c1, which is genius. It's genius calculation. And the idea is we defend this pawn and we can prepare to play rook c2. If you take, we queen. So bishop d1, stopping this idea.
Mm-hmm.
And now white's a play and win.
I don't know, is this possible? Here takes. And I don't know. I'm seeing this, you know, the pass pawn and maybe the promotion square on the light square. That's what I'm seeing, but I don't know how to get there, and I don't know if it's the solution.
But keep going.
But here,
you're on the right path.
It looks quite kind of forcing that he has to take. I mean, what else is he going to do? So he has to take. If I take the bishop, rook has to take, I think. But I can't push the pawn right away because then the rook is going to end up here. That's not going to work out.
Yeah.
So maybe I flick in this move first. And then he can go here. He can go back with the rook. But then I can play here. Yeah, I think I can do that. And then we can actually push the pawn and queen.
It's interesting because both of the themes of today's lesson, which was sacrificial pawns and taking advantage of endgame themes in the middle game, are both applied here. So we've seen the first part of that, and now the sacrificial part comes in because after c3, we defend our pawn, of course, so they have to take this. Now b2, and we simply give up the pawn. Because if they take the pawn, we take their bishop, and they kind of have to. Nothing else really works. If you go just here, then we're still queening, which is nice. And we get a sizable advantage, which is an extra piece.
Yeah, you win the piece. Yeah, I'm so tunnel visioned with queening the pawn that you stop thinking about other things. Huh.
Exactly, which is why you need to have an open mind to many different possibilities. So candidate move in the middle game to see which piece move is best, and candidate move in the end game to see which idea is best as well, which game plan is best. So this happens, and from here we don't really need to see all that much. It's an easy conversion here, and black easily goes on to win this game.
Yeah, you can resign here.
After this mating pattern here, mating net. Let's look at the final.
Well, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment. I would really appreciate it. And again, next time I will make sure I record the session. So hope I will see you back the next time. All right. Bye.